Hey guys, I was hoping to have the first volume of the comic Chilling Adventures of Sabrina for this video, but it took a lot longer to get it here than I thought, so I don't have that. So anyway, Face Off Time, TV, Riverdale, and Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. First seasons only. I'm not going to be talking about season 2 of Riverdale or season 3 that's currently going on at the time of recording this. Just first seasons. One point in time, Chilling Adventures was supposed to be also another CW show, but then got moved over to Netflix. On the bright side, they share the same executive producer. I don't know his last name, but his first name is Roberto, so you can look him up. But anyway, two shows that are both based on comic characters from the company Archie Comics, and they both have a sort of horror vibe to them. Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, it's witches and the devil, obvious connections. Riverdale, it's a over-the-top melodramatic, that's repetitive, it's a melodramatic crime show. Teen drama, too. So, less direct, but still got some horror elements in there. Anyway, we're looking only at the first seasons of each show. And we're going to be comparing them in 5 different rounds, so let's get down to it. Round 1, main character. The main character of Chilling Adventures of Sabrina Spellman. Come on, guys, you knew this. Now, fair warning, I did watch the 90s sitcom with Melissa Joan Hart, so I already had an idea of what I thought Sabrina Spellman was going to be like. But I'm not going to take that show into consideration for this face-off. So, how is she portrayed in Chilling Adventures? Pretty well, actually. I can't remember the actress's name, but I know she had a role in Mad Men, a show I've been meaning to get to. But she's done really well. She is a strong character, most of the time optimistic, but she does have some interesting situations happen to her that certainly challenge her. And she's got humor and good seriousness about her. I really enjoy her as a main character. She's very well acted. As for Riverdale, I'm going to go with the default and say Archie Andrews is the main character. I mean, I know the focus of the show has been, spread out across a whole spectrum of different characters, but considering that it's based on a comic character owned by a company named Archie Comics, I'm going to go with Archie as main character for the purposes of this face-off. And he's fine. Surprisingly enough, he has one of the strangest storylines in the first season. And even taking that into consideration, I just didn't really find him that interesting. I mean, he had his moments, but if we're just focusing on the first season, nothing about him really stands out in my mind about him. And really the problems after that teacher storyline was basically him trying to figure out football or music and how to balance them out. Now, I'm not saying that's an inherently bad thing to have a character go through, but doesn't really stand out in the first season. So this round goes with Chilling Adventures. Now let's go on to round 2, supporting cast. Supporting characters in Chilling Adventures include Sabrina's aunts, Zelda and Hilda. Very different personalities, but they're sisters, and they do have good chemistry with each other and with Sabrina. We also have Father Blackwood, not Sabrina's father. He's like the high priest of their coven. He's an antagonistic, sometimes supporting character as well, You've got the weird sisters, mainly Prudence, and you've got Harvey, who's pretty fun and very interesting to be with. And of course, you've got Sabrina's mortal friends Roz and Susie, who both have had their own moments in the show as well. As for Riverdale, like I mentioned earlier, the focus is spread out across a whole variety of different characters. So, while the main character Archie sort of is hurt by this, other characters get a lot of moments to shine. Uh, if we're focusing on the first season, no, I still go with it. My favorite supporting character in any season of Riverdale is Archie's dad, Fred Andrews. He is the only realistic character in this entire goddamn town. Beside the point, you also have Betty Cooper, Veronica Lodge, Jughead Jones, Cheryl Blossom, as well as other parents including Alice Cooper, F.P. Jones, Hermione Lodge, and of course the Cheryl's parents. I don't really remember their names. Anyway, since the focus is spread out across so many different characters, they all get their own moments to shine, and since it's a murder mystery in the first season, this focus on all these different characters really builds up the sort of mystery of throughout the entire first season. I'm not saying that the surprise reveal of who the murderer was a huge surprise, but it was still well done, and the reveal was well done. So, credits for that. And I really like the supporting characters of Chilling Adventures, but the supporting characters of Riverdale is what is arguably what the show is most famous for, even at this point in its history. So, second round goes to Riverdale. Now let's move on to round 3, humor. This is a tricky round. Chilling Adventures of Sabrina is a fairly well-grounded show once you wrap your hand around the fact that it's witchcraft and such. It does have its dark comedy moments, which are well done, but they're small and not as much as you might expect. But it does have fun. It knows how serious to take itself, both in general and in specific situations. And even taking the seriousness into account, there are still small, well-placed comedic parts. Riverdale, like I said, it's an over-the-top melodrama. And that's what makes it so hilarious. The adults, with the exception of Fred Andrews, wholesome Fred Andrews, but for all the other adults, their dialogue and their behavior is so illogical and insane, you have no choice but to laugh at it. And again, some of the dialogue and actions from the teen characters are also in that same humor. Sometimes I think it's not supposed to be that funny, but on other times I think it's sort of self-aware of its melodramatic nature and just goes with it. And it has led to some very humorous parts in the first season alone. So this round goes to Riverdale as well. Now let's move on to round 4. Groundedness or seriousness of the show. Now, Riverdale, it's got sort of this Twin Peaks-esque vibe in a few places, but for the most part, its over-the-top nature hurts how serious people can take the show. I mean, yeah, when you've got the kind of lines these characters have in the first season, how serious can you really take it? And there are parts in the first season where it's obvious it's trying to hit you with the fact that while this may be portrayed differently in the show, stuff like this does exist in the real world kind of thing, but like I said, the writing throughout the entire show is just so crazy sometimes that you can't really take it all that seriously. As for Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, like I said, it's about witches and witchcraft and Lucifer himself, so you can't really expect it to exactly follow every law of logic. But it knows how to be serious. It knows in like specific instances, if there are certain people involved that are in danger, the characters know how to react, how to feel, what and try to work through what they can do to help solve the situation. And again, while it's magic, they do set clear rules about the world they live in and how their magic works, and they follow through on those rules and making sure they don't do anything that goes against what's been set forth in an earlier part of the show. So for that, this is a more serious show compared to Riverdale. The round goes to Chilling Adventures. Now let's get to the fifth and final round. The structure of the show. Like I said at the beginning of this video, at one point in time, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina was supposed to be on the CW network, which Riverdale is currently on. However, for reasons I don't remember why, it got switched over into Netflix. So the format of the show itself is pretty different. As you know, Netflix releases all of its episodes of a single season at once. So, earlier this month, when season 1 dropped, the entire first season was available, all 10 episodes, ranging from 49 minutes to 63 minutes per episode. Now, the CW, of course, it's like an actual real TV network, which means they release one new episode per week throughout a TV season. And without commercials, they range somewhere between 40 to 44 minutes per episode. Now, because of that format, there are definitely, at the end of each episode, there's some sort of mystery or surprise drop at the end per episode. They're supposed to help bring you back in next week to see what the follow-up is. But of course, that can get too cliche. Because I remember at the end of the pilot episode, Cheryl Blossom stood up like, I killed my brother. But then in the next episode, she was really speaking more metaphorically or figuratively, some stupid shit like that. With Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, they definitely do leave a little mystery at the end of each episode, but it's done in more subtle, more cleaner, and tighter ways than it would on the regular one episode per week kind of network. And while it can be a little bit annoying to have a single season available one day, but you still have to wait a year for the next season, that can get a little annoying and frustrating. It is a more subtly, the show is more subtle, and the pacing and focus of each episode is tighter than on Riverdale in the first season. So, I'm giving this round and the TV face-off to Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. That's all I have for right now today. Tomorrow it's my special Halloween edition video. Come around for that one. Until then, Dr. Cinema here. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Quenches my thirst.